Hi, everyone. In light of Mental Health Awareness Month and AAPI Month, we wanted to get on here to introduce ourselves, Sweet Mango Therapy Group, and introduce one of our therapists, Ruth Christine DeMagmilio. Ruth, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell the group, whoever's listening out there, um, who you are and, a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Ruth Christine DiMagmaliu. I go by Ruth or Ruthie. I was born in San Francisco and raised in Daly City, South San Francisco area. I did my undergraduate at UC Santa Cruz and my master's degree at Santa Clara University.
Awesome, Ruth. I also grew up in Daly City, South City, so amazing. I love that place. It's home to me. Lots of Filipinos. What was your experience like growing up in that area?
Definitely a lot of Filipinos. But I also felt like home all the time. Like I've always had some type of community out there, and I think it just helped, like being able to grow up with people who actually looked like me and had that shared identity with me.
Right, right. And so, I'm curious, as a therapist now, did you know about therapy when you were growing up? And, what led you to this profession?
Yeah. So growing up, like I think mental health was just one of those topics that wasn't quite talked about, unfortunately. And I think I've always seen people who kind of struggled like physically, somatically, but just never quite could pinpoint the emotions that they were feeling. And so I like from an early age, I kind of knew that I was a great listener and really thrived well on one-on-one settings. And I've always wanted to help people, but I never knew what that looked like. So it wasn't until I was an adult and I kind of thought about being a therapist and what that means. And I feel like that's just how I ended up in this field, like being able to help people the way I can and using my own skills and doing so.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story about mental health and your journey into this profession. We're so lucky to have you as part of the team. All of your clients that you have touched and inspired and been there for, they're all very again lucky, blessed, whatever people believe in. Just really grateful, and it's an honor and privilege really to have you part of this team and in doing this work together. I guess my next question is, I know one of your specialties and things that you, I guess, like to address in therapy is intergenerational trauma and healing. And so do you want to tell everybody how that can be addressed in therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think how we learn about relationships, that kind of stems from our own experiences. And what better way to kind of look at our experiences than like our own relationships with our families, right? And so how our parents interact with us kind of impacts the way we interact with other people. And I think when you kind of look back at like family histories and the constant patterns of communication, it kind of sheds light on like how we approach situations, how we react to certain like conversations and different things as well. And so I think it's just really important to kind of just look back at like, what has like your family have been through in order to really look at how we can help heal ourselves in a lot of different situations.
That's amazing, Ruth. I'm so glad that this is, something that you specialize in and can integrate in therapy. And, if you're out there listening and you're interested in therapy and maybe addressing intergenerational trauma and healing, Ruth is available and is accepting new clients. One of my last questions here, Ruth, thank you so much again for your time, is, I wanted you to talk to the audience about Sweet Mango Therapy Group and maybe like one of our core values. Is there a certain value that we uphold here in the group that you know, believe in and stand by?
Yeah, I think my favorite core value is healing and community. I think it pretty much guides me as what I do as a therapist and embodies who I am as a person, especially being able to foster healing for my clients and guide them to stay rooted in communities, just as I have in my own Build Heal culture. So I think that's a one that like stands out, especially like in our group practice, like seeing that we're all like children of immigrants, like just being able to feel rooted in what we do is really important to me.
Amazing. That's so beautiful, Ruth. I'm so glad that you share that value with us. And, you know, in our Filipino culture and Asian cultures, you know, community is so big, it's so huge. And I'm so glad that you identify with that and we can bring this into the work that we do. Amazing. So now we have some lightning round questions so that folks can get to know you a little bit better. So the first one is, you know, can you tell the audience what is your favorite quote?
I think that would be a quote by Rumi. It's life is a balance of holding on and letting go.
I love that one. That's a good one.
Mm.
What do you like to do for fun?
I like to go hiking, especially with my dog. I love reading about autobiographies and like really good fiction books. I also like going to marketplaces and events with like a ton of vendors, crafts, anything that I can like spend my time looking at and like exploring and just enjoying my time. So
That's so cool. That sounds so relaxing and fun.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. If you had to pick your last meal on earth, what would you choose?
I would choose buntalog. That's the milkfish with the garlic fried rice, eggs, and tomatoes. Honestly, any salads, I just love rice and eggs. So
Yeah.
that would be it.
Oh goodness, I love bangsilog. For those who don't know, can you tell folks what bangsilog is?
Yeah, so bantalog, it's like a combination of bangos, which is like fried milkfish, and then silogs is the eggs and rice. I like mine with tomatoes, and like I can't forget the vinegar as well for my bantalog. But yeah, that's simply what the dish would be for
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you haven't tried bangsilog, you know, we highly recommend it. Though that's one of my favorites too. So thanks so much for sharing that, Ruth.
Yeah.
All right. How can folks contact you, Ruth?
You can definitely find me on Instagram. I'm at Ruthie D LMST, or you can find a little bit more about my services at sweetmangotherapy.com.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening in. Ruth, thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Thank you for having me.